Good morning. This is Wazo X Wazo. I just woke up and I thought it's been a long time since I've done one of these just informal talks. I think in doing this video series, sometimes it's gotten too, I've been trying to make it too clever in some of my video productions. So I'm going back once in a while to just a much more simple kind of presentation. So anyway, if you watched the video that I posted a couple days ago, my conversation with Puneet Kaushik, I hope you watched that. If you didn't, it's a really good conversation about traditional arts and the interventions of contemporary artists in traditional arts. Go back and find it and watch it. It's on my channel. But in that conversation, I found myself using this term, contemporary art, quite a bit here and there. So did Puneet, of course. It's natural. Those of us in the art scene, we use the word contemporary art. I really don't like the word. I don't like the word contemporary art anymore. I consciously try to use the word, I consciously try to use the word current art these days. I think current art is a much more fresh, and I will use the word inclusive term, and let me explain why. Contemporary art as a term came about, I think, in sort of the 70s. It came into use and then in wide usage in the 80s and the 90s, and certainly in the 2000s. Initially, it seemed very broad. Contemporary art, it's what's going on now, okay? Yeah, okay, that's a great thing. Seems like a good word. Certainly differentiated what was going on in those decades from what had transpired previously with the modernists, which, you know, most art historians always made the claim were a certain linear progression of development in Western art history. Now that's all under debate these days. I still think that's a useful way of looking at what happened during that time, though it should be expanded upon, of course. But I wouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. But after a while, and I mean, this gets to the nut of the problem I have with the word contemporary art, it's become so strongly associated with a particular type of art and a particular type of ideology. So let me explain. When people hear the word contemporary art, first thing that goes through their mind is they think very large, shiny, stainless steel sculptures, perhaps. Maybe they think of large fiberglass sculptures. Maybe they think of video art, two-channel video art. Maybe they think of some crazy installation they saw somewhere in a gallery with a bunch of stones and sticks thrown on the ground and hanging from the ceiling. Those are the things that come to mind. Sometimes they think of performance art as contemporary art. But there's a whole lot that's left out in that. Another problem with the word contemporary art is it's associated with heavily capitalistic art, like you would see in the art fair circuit. And I'm talking about names, I mean, you know, the top two, like Damien Hirst and Jeff Koons. I don't know who's currently in the lead, but artists who are really money-driven, capitalistic-driven, heavily marketed, huge prices at auctions. So that's one thing you think of. And then the other thing you might think of is the Biennale circuit, which sometimes skews totally in the other direction. The Biennale circuit, you have artists who are very much postmodern in their thought, Marxist in their thought. Their art actually rebels against the market system in many ways. Most things you see in Biennales are not ostensibly for sale, though of course sales are made on the side. And it helps promote an artist's brand, to use a capitalist terminology. So all of these things pop into your mind when you hear the term contemporary art. What does not pop into your mind? Printmaking. Yeah, woodcuts, lithographs, modern day combinations of woodcuts and lithographs combined. That doesn't pop into your mind when you hear the term contemporary art. Contemporary miniature painting doesn't pop into your mind when you hear the word contemporary art. You don't think of contemporary miniatures. You don't think of Sarah Wassim or Alexander Gorlitsky as contemporary art necessarily. And if you do, you think of it as maybe a little peripheral. Sorry, Alexander. I mean, I'm in the same boat. You might think of it as a little peripheral to contemporary art. There are other things. Folk art. Folk art you don't think of as contemporary art. Tribal art you don't think of as contemporary art. A lot of more traditional painters on canvas. You know, I'm thinking now of the Carolyn eco-surrealists, as I call them. That doesn't always pop into your mind when you say the word contemporary art. I feel it's lacking. I feel contemporary art has become a branded name, and it refers to a particular type of art that often claims to be postmodernist, concerned with social issues, but at the same time is heavily marketed. I made a post on Facebook one time that the gist of it was basically, what did I say? So the art fairs are run by the capitalists and the biennales are run by the Marxists, and everybody's happy. And there's truth in that. There's just truth in that. It's kind of a cushy system, isn't it? You know, really? So I think that contemporary art as a term has become debased. It's not become so inclusive anymore. It's become actually rather exclusive. You think of particular thing. I prefer the word current art, just current art. And I'm trying very consciously now to use the word current art rather than contemporary, because to me, when I say current art means what is happening currently, what's happening now, currently. And that can be all kinds of things, and all kinds of things that are now left out of the term contemporary art. So basically, that's what I wanted to say this morning. It's just a little addendum maybe to the conversation I had yesterday with Puneet. And I would like to go into this issue in more detail in the future, but that's my very short rant this Sunday morning. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. See you later. This is Evil O, Waswo X Waswo from Udaipur. Bye.